just like living in a white terror that no one will know what's going to happen tomorrow in Hong Kong.
Many people here are wearing face masks. People are hiding their identities. They fear that the government will press charges.
What started as a protest against an extradition bill has become the most serious challenge to the Communist Party's authority since the Tiananmen Square protest 3 decades ago.
Scores have been arrested under the law for doing things like chanting certain slogans, waving this flag, or organizing unofficial election primaries. Those arrested include pro-democracy activists and politicians who face long jail sentences.
The protests in Hong Kong have apparently been carried out recently into the world of rugby.
Here in Hong Kong, authorities are demanding answers after a protest song linked to the 2019 protests was mistaken as the national anthem at a rugby tournament in South Korea. Organizers apologized and insisted it was an honest mistake.
Players looked perplexed as the song Glory to Hong Kong was played ahead of the final of the Asia Rugby Sevens Series instead of the Chinese national anthem.
Tonight, Chief Executive John Lee said Hong Kong police will start looking into the case. He slammed the blunder as unacceptable.
Long and short, Glory to Hong Kong was written by an anonymous composer and became an anthem for the pro-democracy movement during protests in 2019. Let's backtrack for a moment. Hong Kong protesters did not have a national anthem. So, and may I put beautifully, they created one. It's because Hong Kongers do not feel any pride when hearing the Chinese national anthem. Thus, they made their voices heard on this subject. At a World Cup qualifying match between Hong Kong and Iran, thunderous boos were heard as the Chinese national anthem was mandatorily played. Some protesters have said the Cantonese language song makes them feel the way people abroad feel when they hear their own anthems, a sense of collective pride in their home. Many young protesters have felt contempt for China based on what they see as Beijing's steadily tightening grip since it resumed control of the territory from Britain in 1997. Seeing the weight of its impact, the CCP acted. After a national security law passed in 2020, Glory to Hong Kong mostly disappeared from public events. That year, education officials banned the song from schools and tasked school officials with stopping students from playing or singing it. The song includes the line, "Break now the dawn, liberate our Hong Kong, in common breath, revolution of our times," which references a protest slogan that the government said could be seditious. Remember that video we just showed a short time ago of Hong Kongers booing the Chinese national anthem at the World Cup qualifying match against Iran? Well, that also changed. In 2020, Hong Kong had also passed a law that made disrespect for the Chinese national anthem and flag a criminal offense. Before that, spectators had occasionally booed, turned their backs, or made vulgar gestures when the Chinese anthem was played at sports events in the city. And the suppression has been well documented. In the spotlight was Alexandra Wong, aka Grandma Wong, who was recently sentenced to 8 months in prison for demonstrating in 2 separate protests. She was even heard chanting, "Shame on the police's collusion with the gangsters, shame on their betrayal of Hong Kongers." Hong Kong, a former British colony handed over to Beijing in '97, sends its own representative teams separate from mainland China to a wide range of sporting events, including the Olympics. Paula Leong, 42, was also charged after she waved a British colonial-era flag to celebrate Hong Kong claiming Olympic gold. Paula had waved the flag in a shopping mall where a big screen was showing the medal ceremony following Edgar Chung's victory in the foil at the Tokyo Olympics in July 2021. Earlier this year, a man who played Glory to Hong Kong along with several songs outside the British consulate on his harmonica was detained for carrying out an act with seditious intent. Fast forward to present day, because the playing of that national anthem has garnered widespread attention and is a big deal in Asia. The organization's preliminary investigation found that the Chinese anthem had been given to the organizers by the team's coach, and the protest song had been played by mistake. After the match, a public apology was announced in Korean and English in the stadium, and the correct anthem, the March of the Volunteers, was played. Asia Rugby also replaced the anthem on its social media platforms, it said.